Hey guys, hope you're well. My name is Rob. Welcome to Kinetic Rugby League. In this video, I'll be giving you my Super League Round 24 predictions. I'll leave a recap of last week up on the screen for you now. As you can see, 6 out of 6.
Ha! Boom, baby!
Unfortunately, that is the first one I've had since round 12, and is only the 4th one of the year, which isn't great. There's a couple of 5s, there's a lot of 4s, and some 3s. Ugh. But pretty happy with the season so far. That's 102 out of 139 with a percentage of 73.38%. Pretty happy with that. Still working towards 75% plus. I don't know if 80% is mathematically possible. I'll have to find out, but working for 75 plus. But we'll crack on with the first game of this week. Kicking things off, we have the Leigh Leopards taking on the Warrington Wolves. Starting with league position, Leigh are in 7th, Warrington in 3rd. In terms of recent form, both have won 4 in their last 5 Super League games. For power rankings, I have Leigh in 4th, Warrington in 3rd. So right now, Leigh are great on the attacking side. I think they need to keep up the consistency on that side of the ball and continue to be good defensively. There's been some good work. That's my biggest issue for them. So I've got no complaints about their attack. It's just defensively, they need to keep up the good work. I think key players such as Ipape and Lamb, even players like Hardacre, I think have been pretty good over the last couple of weeks, maybe gone under the radar a little bit for some people. Those sort of key players will have a huge impact in this game. They'll be so important. Now, for the side of Warrington, they still need to be starting better. That's my biggest issue with them right now, is I think defensively, Warrington look pretty good. Now, in back-to-back weeks against Leeds and Castleford, attacking-wise, they've not been great over the last couple of weeks, so it's been a bit of help there. But goal line defense has been really solid, and given the fact I think Leigh will control the game well at a lot of parts, especially early on, if Warrington continue to start slow, Warrington will be on the back foot, and it's about that goal line defense. Now, Leigh do have a much better strike rate than Leeds and Castleford, so it'll be a lot trickier, but at least they've been under some pressure, a lot of tests, and I think we'll probably have learned a lot from the Hull KR game 3 weeks ago. And for me, it's going to be key players again for Warrington. It's going to be George Williams. It's going to be Kai Taylor-Ray. Now he's had some experience in that number 1 role. More time in training. Actual game time, a full 80 minutes to work with George Williams. More time to kind of work on that partnership and copy a little bit more of what he and Duffy does. So he can have a say in this game. Toby King and Roderick Ty, they've been solid. And it's just through the middle for me. I think the most important thing is Danny Walker. I think he's going to be the most important player in this game for Warrington. Is either starting the game well if he starts, or changing the pace of the game if he comes on. So, for me, it's all down to Danny Walker. So right now, Leigh are spreading the ball around really nicely. I want to see a slightly better cohesive attacking effort from Warrington and not just individuals kind of dragging us out of it. I think this game will be extremely close. I'm going to back Warrington slightly because of the quality of individuals and just the defensive efforts right now. But genuinely, Leigh can win this game. And if they did win the game, I wouldn't be surprised. So just putting that out there. But I'm just going to back Warrington in this one, but it could really go either way. I'm going to go with Leigh Leopards 20, Warrington Wolves 24. Next up, we have Kingston Rovers taking on Salford Red Devils. Starting with league position, Hull KR are in 1st, Salford in 4th. In terms of Super League form, Hull KR have won 5 in their last 5 Super League games. Salford have won 3 in their last 5 Super League games. And for power rankings, I have Hull KR in 1st, Salford in 5th. So right now, Hull KR look great in attack. They move the ball around really, really well, especially in the tight spaces. They look unfazed in defence. I've said all this, all this kind of stuff in the power rankings video. Hull KR just look great right now, the way they're spreading the ball. And on the side of Salford, they're a little bit too inconsistent for me. Like, they know how to score points. We all know that they can be a great attacking team, but they kind of drift in and out of games. They can take control here and there. We all know what Mark Sneed's capable of with his kicking game. Like, the first half of the season, he was great, right up there in the Man of Steel rankings. We need to see that version of him if Salford really want to compete in this game. But the thing is with Hull KR, they've come up against teams this season where you'd think it might be tricky, and it has been at times, of course it has been. But they're doing enough, and they're strong enough, disciplined enough, efficient enough, effective enough to kind of nullify what teams want to do and take out their sort of best players out the game and just nullify the effects. So if they have quick defensive line speed, they put Sneed under pressure, they take him out the game. And Hull KR are a team that's smart enough to be able to take him out the game. They don't need me to tell them what to do. I'm sure they'll be good enough at that because they're doing extremely well right now. So I think Salford can put up points. It's going to be tricky against such a resilient defensive team like Hull KR right now. I think they can certainly trouble them at times, but I think Salford will kind of drift in and out. Hull KR will pretty much be fine for the most part. I think they'll take a bit of a lead. Maybe Salford will answer back a little bit. Then they'll score again. Maybe back and forth a little bit. But ultimately, I think they'll get the first say and the last say. Hull KR will just be fine through the middle. Bit of a challenge, but I think ultimately they'll be fine in this game. Don't really see too much pressure from them. So I'm going to go with Hull Kingston Rovers 28, Salford Red Devils 16. Next up, we have Hull FC taking on Castleford Tigers. Starting with league position, Hull FC are in 11th, Castleford are in 10th. For recent form, both have won 0 in their last 5 Super League games. For power rankings, I have Hull FC in 11th, Castleford in 10th. So right now, Hull FC, I think the only thing that I can see from them is that when they actually have some intent trying to spread the ball early, and they actually go at teams, sometimes they actually do execute fairly well. Like, they can get around teams. They can do. They've got some quick players in there. They're just not going for it enough for me. Now, defensively, they're still a very poor team. Now, the fact that Castleford, they haven't really got that same sting that they had a few months ago, or a bit over a month ago, will help Hull FC on the defensive side of things. But Castleford, with the likes of Miller, Westerman connecting through the middle, I think some big performances from Hooley last week was solid. Winley as well if he plays again. Milnes, even if he plays, I think can be quite effective at 6. Miller, and of course Tex Hoy, I think would be the most important player in this game. He understands the Hull FC players, defensively what their weaknesses are, and I think will probably be the most important player in this game to exploit that and should make Castleford comfortable enough in this game. I think Hull FC can put up points. I don't really know what else there is to be said about Hull. I think for me right now, it's as simple as Castleford are a better attacking team, clearly, better defensive team, clearly. They've been better all season long. At no point did I feel like Hull FC was ever a better team than Castleford. And that's it, really. And right now, Castleford, I think they'll feel a little bit disheartened about the result against Warrington because they thought maybe they could get a better result out of it. But they're just better than Hull FC, and that's all I can really say right now. So I'm going to go with Hull FC 12, Castleford Tigers 24. Next up, we have Catalans Dragons taking on Wigan Warriors. Starting with league position, Catalans are in 6th, Wigan are in 2nd. For recent form, the Dragons have won 2 in their last 5 Super League games. Wigan have won 4 in their last 5 Super League games. For power rankings, I have Catalans in 8th, Wigan in 2nd. So right now, Catalans are under a lot of pressure at the moment. They're looking really, really poor. In terms of attack, they're not spreading the ball around too well. A bit predictable at times, hoping for individuals to kind of come up with something. And on the defensive side, being opened up too much, unfortunately for them. I feel like at some point, like I'm kind of waiting for that to turn around, but I said that a good few weeks ago and it's still not happened. So I think I've just got to accept at this point, they're just not a good enough team. I think individuals, if they do compete in games, I think it's individuals like Morg, Farge, Abdul, Garcia, depending on who's available, will kind of just drag them through moments here and there. I think they've still got a good team, but as an overall collective, they're just not getting it done. Wigan right now are still not a perfect team with key players missing, but they're getting the job done. They're adapting to situations. There are some veterans, even like you could kind of start to class Nsemba as a veteran, even though he's not, but he's like someone you're going to be looking to be powerful on the edges. And other young players as well that have had plenty of game time at this point. Jack Farriman, they're going to start leaning on him a little bit more as well since he's getting more game time. So young players are under pressure, but they're rising to it. But you've got players like Wardle can deal with that pressure. Marshall can deal with the pressure. Miskey can. So still not perfect from Wigan, but they've got key players in there that are just constantly dragging them through. So I think maybe there's a slightly closer game to be had here because they're still not perfect. And individuals from Catalans could switch it on at some point. But I genuinely don't see a loss here for Wigan at all, unless circumstances in the game, such as key injuries or cards, dictate otherwise. But I think they should be fine in this one. So I'm going to go with Catalans Dragons 16, Wigan Warriors 26. Next up, we have the Huddersfield Giants taking on St Helens. Starting with league position, the Giants sit in 9th, Saints are in 5th. For recent form, Huddersfield have won 1 in their last 5 Super League games, Saints have won 2 in their last 5 Super League games. For power rankings, I have the Giants in 9th and Saints in 6th. So right now, both teams could be really low on confidence given the results last week. Huddersfield more so because of how bad the season's gone in general, and I don't think Saints really they're not really in a position to. They don't have the luxury of being low on confidence. Given the situation they're in, they're fighting for a playoff spot. So they don't really have the luxury of sitting around and moping because they've still got a season to fight for and a potential grand final trophy to fight for as well. Much as people might laugh at that, I think anyone that's in the playoffs can still win the playoffs. But the young lads are under a lot of pressure right now, and I still really like the bravery that they're showing. They're not shying away from their own individual moments. As a team, with so many young players in there, it's still not going to be the same level of production in attack and in defence that your experienced players would give you. I know plenty of Saints fans have complained about the veterans in that team as well, maybe not actually leading the way. And a lot of complaints about Paul Wellens as well with his coaching. But I've got a feeling that Saints should be fine in this one. I think Huddersfield, even given the result last week, they can have some moments, and defensively Saints need to really work on that side. So Huddersfield can put up points. I think there are certainly individuals for Huddersfield that can open up this defence. But Saints, I think, have just enough in them, and I think a result, even if it's not a great result, just a win would do a lot of good to the young lads in that team, being able to get a win against anybody right now. And especially given where they are in the table, they really need it. It'll do them the world of good. And as much as I'm a Wire fan, I don't want Saints to win, I always really want to root for the young lads that are coming through. And I actually really hope that they can, for their sakes, come up with a win. Because I think they really need it right now. Given the pressure that they're under and the role that they're having to play, I wouldn't mind a win for those young lads. So I'm going to go with the Huddersfield Giants 14, St Helens 22. Finally, we have the London Broncos taking on Leeds Rhinos. Starting with league position, London sit in 11th, Leeds are in 8th. For recent form, London have won 2 in their last 5 Super League games, Leeds have won 3 in their last 5 Super League games. For power rankings, I have London in 11th, Leeds in 7th. Right now, London still pretty good in attack. Obviously, slight step back against Leigh, but they put in a good defensive shift as well, but still spread the ball around nicely. So they're still good in attack. Defence is still off at the moment. That's the biggest issue with London right now, is the defence. For Leeds, they're not a complete team, but they're just better than they were. So they're still making some improvements on the attack, on the defensive side. They're getting there. It's still a bit off. I don't know if there's enough in them for the rest of the season to make the top 6. I don't know if it's possible for them. But it's better work. They're a bit more organised, a bit more of a clear plan, a bit more energy around the team as well. Lockie Miller, I think, is given a bit more freedom. I think Frawley's kicking game looks a bit more organised. They know what they want to do in the last tackle. That was a big issue I had with them, like in the middle of the season. Now, there's a good chance that London will be up for some revenge after the result that happened at Headingley a few months ago. So, this is a good chance for London to get revenge in this game. Given where Leeds are, still not being a perfect team, but I think there's enough in this Rhinos team right now to shut London down enough defensively and to put up enough points as well. I think their attack is just doing enough right now to get one over on teams. Obviously, it was enough against Catalans, wasn't enough against Warrington, but there's some good stuff here. I'm seeing good stuff from them. The way they spread the ball, and individuals are starting to step up now. So I think that'll be the key difference, is just the different energy around this team. If it was a few weeks ago, maybe I'd say London gets it done. But I think right now, very back and forth, but just enough in this Leeds team to get it done. So I'm going to go with London Broncos 18, Leeds Rhinos 24. So that's going to be it for my Super League Round 24 predictions. If you got your own, please let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know how you got on last week. But that's going to be it. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like. It does help to get the video out there to more people. And subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with more Rugby League content. But that's going to be it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.